Hello YouTube, my name is HoseaGames and welcome to this brand new video series where I'm going to teach you how to make a basic Minecraft rig in Autodesk Maya 2016. So yeah, I've reached 200 subscribers and I thought, why not make a rigging tutorial series? And so that's what I'm gonna do right now. I have made a couple of steps which we are going to go through when making this model and slash rig. And the first thing we're gonna start off with is the legs, because that's, I think, the hardest part for most people, or actually that's the head, but the legs are second hardest part for most people. So here I have the model, the steps, and it's model measurements, the UV mapping for the textures, making the blend shapes, setting up the joints, making the blend shape controls, setting up the controllers, and making the IK handlers and place them underneath the controllers, and then duplicate the leg and turn it into the other leg. So the leg which we're going to make first is, give me a second, I actually close this. The leg we are first gonna make is the right leg, and so we're gonna start off with the measurements. As most of the people know, or actually, let's start over here. We're gonna go to the polygon tab and click this square, and then it will create a square block in the middle of your scene. If it is interactive selection, make sure to go to create, polygon primitives, and turn interactive creation off. Okay, so once we've done that, some of you people might already know the measurements, but Minecraft measurements are in pixels, and we're gonna work in pixel sized things, I guess. And then the height is gonna be 12 pixels because the leg is 12 pixels high. The leg is 4 pixels deep, or wide, sorry, and 4 pixels deep. And as I already told, this is gonna be a basic tutorial on how to do this. So I'm not gonna go into too much fuzz because I want you to get the basics under control. And that's kind of what I want. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna set the subdivision's height up to 6. Which means we have 6 segments in this model. And each segment covers 2 pixels. Or 2 blocks. 2 little squares, okay. Now once we've got that, I'm gonna check the thing over here. We're gonna go over to the texturing. So if you want to texture stuff in Autodesk Maya, there are 2 ways to make a texture. One is to go to the hypershade, but I find that a way around, or too long to go through. So what I usually do is I select the object I want to edit, I hold my right mouse button, and then I go down to assign new material. And the material we're going to use in this for this rig model thing for the leg is Lambert. So click Lambert, and now we can go into the hypershade. It's easier this way. And then here we have Lambert 2. Make sure to rename it to let's see, legs, skin, texture. And okay, I'm back. Sorry, but sometimes my Autodesk Maya crashes when I rename textures or materials. So I've renamed it in a different way. I went into the object itself, and then you have the Lambert 2 over here, and then you can rename it over here. So what we are going to do now is we're going to assign a new texture. If you want to do that, you'll have to go down to color, click the black white squares over here, and make sure to click file. Once you've done that, you will be brought to this window, and over here you'll have to make sure you disable the filter, so turn it off. And what you can do next is go into this window thing over here and go to your skin. I've already copied my skin location. It's a basic Steve skin, and you're gonna see what the difference is between a normal Steve skin and this one. So as you see, you have loads of red lines over here. These lines are to perfectly align each point of the rig to its right neighbor. So if you click open, you'll have imported it, but you don't see the texture. So right now we can close this window, the hypershade, and press 6 on your keyboard. Well, this doesn't look quite expected, but it is. If you want to change this, or actually, yeah, we will go, you'll have to select this object. We also have to rename the object, by the way, so right leg object. So now we have the right leg object. What we want to do is we want to go into the polygons folder over here and go all the way to the UV texture editor. Click it once and you'll have it. So everything looks quite blurry and it's hard to work this way. So first of all, we're gonna adjust some settings so it's sharper and we have snapping enabled and that we can see the lines easier. For that we will go over here, make sure this is sharp. This is for the sharpness of the pixels. This is snapping, and this is so we can see the adjustable faces easier. Once we've done this, we're gonna put this window aside a little bit, and we're going over here and click the automatic mapping. Once you've done that, you will see that there are 4 sides. That's also correct over here, and there's 1 bottom and 1 top face or UV map. So once you've done that, we're gonna go into select this again over, go into UV mode, select everything, press R on your keyboard, and then you can rescale it so it's a bit smaller. So once you've done that, you're gonna see what is the front and what is the back. I'm gonna put this window aside for a second. So as you see, there is a small thing over here in the bottom left corner, and you can see what's the front and what's the side and what's top. So the y-axis is up, the z-axis is the depth, and the x-axis is from side to side, the width. And if it's in a V towards you, then you're actually in the correct modus for, or then you're actually seeing this object from the front. So that's something I struggled a bit with, but I figured it out at a certain time. Okay, so now we know that, we know what the front is. So this is the front, so let's search up what's the front. Okay, we have it right away. And because we have snapping enabled, we can just drag it to its right location, and later on we're gonna rescale this so it's correct. This is the back, so this one goes over here. This is the left side, I guess, yes. And this is the right side. And then we have the bottom, and we have the top. So everything looks kind of disoriented, but we're gonna change that in a second. But first, we'll have to make sure the mapping is correct. So what we're gonna do for that is we're gonna do it fairly easily. Select all these bottom parts in the UV mode, and when you have hold the W on your keyboard, because then you can use the move tool. And then you make sure there is 2 pixels between every line, because this snapping tool snaps to pixels and not to the world or the the grid. Okay, so we're almost done with this part. Okay, and what you're gonna do next is you're gonna make them the correct size, like this. Okay, so now we have finished the second, or not the second step, we have finished this part, but as you may see, it's upside down. These red dots don't match, and the same goes for these ones. These are the 3 sides which you have to adjust if you have used automatic mapping or any other way. So what we're gonna do for that is we're gonna select the upper part and see what is wrong. It looks like this has to be rotated because this dot has to come over here. And it seems it has to be rotated about 90 degrees. So we're gonna go over here, make sure you select this, the upper part of the leg, and turn it a couple of times, or click this for a couple of times, until these lines match. By the way, this skin is going to be in the description for download, so you can easily follow this tutorial. And the same goes for the bottom leg, but this is a different situation because here you have 2 dots, as you see, 2 pixels painted red. But if we're going to rotate this, it isn't gonna match. So for this, we are going to flip it vertically with this button over here. It will give a red signal over here, but it's how it's supposed to be. So now it's perfectly aligned, and we only have the back part left. So make sure you're in UV mode again. By the way, if you want to select a whole UV set at once, just double click one of these points and you'll select the whole thing. For this one, we will have to, as you may see, there are no dots on this side, but they're only on this side. So what we have to do in this case is, and we have this dot on this side, but it has to be here. So for this one, we're gonna do both, flip it horizontally and vertically. So click vertically, or horizontally, sorry, and then vertically. Once you've done that, everything is perfectly aligned, and you have the full model over here of the inner leg. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, just for as a quick change, is we're gonna make a double or an inner and an outer leg out of this. So if you want to do that, press Ctrl D, and then you'll have to scale this up a little bit. Let's see, the X, it's always a little bit of varying, but I prefer to go with the X and the Z 1.08, and then the part that's gonna go up, or the Y axis, is going to be, or oh wow, this is 9.8. Okay, is gonna be about 1.04. It's always a little bit of looking if it's all right. It looks like let's see, 30. Oh, this is 40 again. Sorry, 30. This looks, yes, this looks okay. So we're gonna go with the 1.08, 1.03, and 1.08 again. Once you've done that, select all of these, select a scale and right click, freeze, scale. It will set it back to 1, and that way you don't have any errors while rigging and stuff. So let's change it back to its original location by setting the translate X back to 0. And as you might notice, this outer leg doesn't have any or has the same texture as the inner leg, and that's something we don't want to have because they don't have the same texture in the game itself. So for that, we're gonna go back to the UV editor, go into UV mode again, well, having selected the outer leg, and then select all of these objects by selecting, because if you're gonna double click, it doesn't work anymore. because these are actually separate faces, and that's what I did with automatic mapping. So select all of them and just drag them down. So right now I don't have a skin for this, or I have a skin on my computer, but I'll have to search it up somewhere. But we have the inner and the outer leg right now. So what we're gonna do next is, let's first check the second step, making the blend shapes for the inner and outer leg. Okay, so we're gonna make the blend shapes. What we're gonna do is we're gonna select both of these. I actually have to rename the outer leg. Right, outer leg. Oh, leg. And then we'll select both of the legs, the inner and the outer. Press Ctrl D, press W, and make sure snapping is enabled up here. So then go over to this location. And let's see. Make sure the outer leg is going up, because we don't want them to interfere with each other. So let's rename this right leg knee blend shape. Right outer leg knee blend shape. And now we have these unedited blend shapes. So what we want is the knee is gonna turn 90 degrees once the joints are in, and it's gonna turn 90 degrees backwards. We're gonna make a limit on 90 degrees, and because a leg is 4 pixels thick, it's very easy to set this up, and the only thing we'll have to do is make sure that we go into edge mode. And if the knee rotates, it actually rotates, but the thing is, the knee doesn't rotate as you want to, and that's why we were making blend shapes, so that the knee can rotate while having sharp bends. And what it does actually is it's gonna turn, once it's rotating, it will turn this face down. So just select it and place this down about 2 pixels, so it's on the line underneath. And turn to the back side and bring this up 2 pixels. So once you've done that, you can go back into object mode and do the same thing for the outer leg. But you'll have to make sure with the outer leg that you're not only in edge mode, but that the snapping tool is changed to points, because else it won't work. And once you've done that, you can click it, and then it'll automatically snap to 2 pixels downwards, and the same for the back side, it will snap 2 pixels upwards. Once you've done that, go back into object mode, and let's see, we have made the blend shapes right now, but we still have to add them to the objects themselves. So for that, we're gonna go into the rigging tab, click the object, click the edited mesh, which we're going to use as blend shape, and then make sure, or let's go into this window for a second, make sure this is the outer leg blend shape for the knee. Make sure to go to the outer leg itself, and then press this thing over here with the circle, the rounded square, and the square. This is make blend shape, and then you will see there's a blend shape added in here. So let's rename this right outer right knee outer knee blend shape. And now we can practically delete this, but if you still want to make some adjustments, that is possible. I kind of prefer that to make the adjustments later on if there are adjustments needed, because what I've noticed with this rig making style, you will actually have, once the leg is rotating 90 degrees and you have your knee rotated, then the outer leg will actually go into itself a little bit. Just a little square over here, but you won't notice it if you don't look at it. So yeah, and there are no texture deformations as far as I know on that spot. So do the same thing for the inner knee. But first we want to do is we have loads of information over here, and it is kind of it's not as tidy as I want it to be. So what we're gonna do is select the object we want to edit, go into edit, delete by type, and then history. Once you've done that, it's empty over here, and now we can select the right leg knee blend shape and the right leg itself and make a blend shape again. And let's see, let's just copy this one and also place it over here, but take away the outer part, like so. Okay, I'm just gonna delete these two because I think I'm just gonna leave them for now. Okay, so now we have cleared step 2. And step 3 is step 3, we've cleared step 3. What I actually prefer to do is actually save the file regularly, because Autodesk Maya sometimes has small issues that it will crash. So I will go, I've copied this, give me a second. I'll copy this, place it into here, and call it legs. Legs dot Maya binary. Save as. It's saving, give it a second. Continue, because I'm using the student version. And once you've done that, we can at least make these two invisible and group them as right knee blend shapes. Right leg, sorry. And group these two as right leg objects, because you want to keep it tidy in here. Okay, so once you've done that, we're gonna go over to step 3, setting up the joints. So this is for the fancy feet, the knee with sharp bends. We're gonna press the spacebar on our keyboard and go to this left panel over here and click this with the 4 panels. So once you're in this mode, we're gonna use the front over here and the side. This is the front, and this is the back side of the leg. So what we want to do is we're gonna go into joint mode. So select in the rigging panel, you can go to joint, to the joint tool, and make sure snapping is enabled on the grid. And then we're going to select the grid, or not the grid, but we're gonna place one at the top of the leg, one at the middle, and one at the bottom. And now we don't have the fancy feet, and that's what we want to have. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna place this joint over here, because this is the front side, as you see over here. Let's make joints with X-ray, enable it. So right now we have this. Press spacebar, and this is these are the joints we just set up. So what I prefer to do actually is select all the joints and turn the radius down to 0.25. Let's see, outliner. It didn't select all of them. Here we go. 0.25, because that makes it a lot more tidy and it looks more clear. So now let's rename these joints. Right leg joint, right leg knee, joint, not again. Not again. Joint, right ankle joint, right foot joint. Okay. So now we have renamed them, and we're gonna bind them to the objects themselves. So what we're gonna do first is, or let's put object behind this. Wow, I have some real typing problems over here. Anyways, let's turn the visibility for the outer, or first of all, we're gonna select all the joints we have for the right leg. Select both the inner and the outer right leg and click bind skin over here. You can also go to the rigging tab, go to skin and bind skin, and as you see it has the same icon as the bind skin over here. So click it and your skin is bound, but it looks terrible. So what we're gonna do for this is we're gonna turn the visibility for the outer leg off. And once we have done that, we are going into the UV paint. Into the joint paint mode. So select the leg and double click this drawing thing over here with the pencil, I guess, or brush, and then you will have all the joints we have over here. So this is the right leg joint. So first of all, what I find easiest to do is first make all of the parts paint all of the faces or edges into the right leg joint. Then we're gonna go to the right knee, and what you'll have to look or be careful for with this is that you don't select this or not only this. We'll just go through the middle like this and select the whole thing. Once we've done that, or I just selected ankle, didn't I? Sorry guys, the knee. Once you've done that, you can go into the right ankle joint and make it even smaller. By the way, if I'm making the brush smaller, I hold my B button on my keyboard and drag with my left mouse button to make it smaller or bigger. Then I drag to the right, left or right. And then you will do the ankle like this. And what we have now is a ankle. I'm pressing the E key right now for rotation. The ankle, or the fancy feet, and the knee, but it doesn't have a sharp bend as you see over here. So what's next? Let's see. Next is making the blend shape control. So for this we're gonna go up here where there actually said modeling, and we're gonna go into the animation tab. Then we're gonna go up here to key, set driven key, set. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna select the knee and load the driver. Once we've done that, or actually I forgot one part, sorry guys, I forgot the outer leg, not again. Okay, so we have the outer leg over here, and we're gonna go back into paint mode for the joints and stuff, and putting it up, setting it up. And then we're gonna do the same thing as the inner leg, but this time with the outer leg. And the ankle again, so we have the fancy feet. Okay, so once you've done that, you will go into the panel we just opened and select both, or actually first select the outer leg, then hold shift and press the right outer knee blend shape. Press Ctrl, click right leg object, and hold shift and press right knee blend shape, and then load driven. And as you can see over here, we have the two blend shapes. And now we're gonna look at something else, because what's the rotation? Because this is the driver. If it does something in the scene, these things can be edited by it. So we want to rotate the knee, and what happens when it reaches 90 degrees is that it turns the right knee blend shape up to 1. Or, wow, I made a mistake again, not again, -1. And then you will get something that looks like this, and this is a sharp bend. And let's see. For that we want to have the Y rotation, as you can see over here. So click rotate Y, and click over here on the right leg blend shape knee, or knee blend shape. Click key, and do the same thing for this one, for the outer knee blend shape. And once you've done that, you can rotate this to about 90 degrees and turn this to -1, key it, and the same goes for this one, -1, and key it. So as you see right now, it has a little bit dark spot over here, and that's something we don't want to have. So what we're gonna do next is select both of these, go into modeling, go into mesh display, and harden edge. So now we don't have the problem with the dark things, or the dark parts on the rig, because it's actually smoothened, and that's something we don't want to have. So what you notice right now is it looks terrible because it doesn't have any we have to add a couple of extra set driven keys to make sure it looks perfect. So for that we're gonna go into this view again from the side, and this is how we can easily see how things are being manipulated from the side. So let's place this to, or make the rotation 45 degrees, and I have made a notepad file somewhere. I think I have accidentally deleted the file. Anyways, what we're gonna do in that case is we're going to go to the set driven key thing over here and make sure this is gone for a second, then we have a better view and less confusing. And click the knee blend shape, the outer knee blend shape, and adjust this until it's right, and it's about 45 in this case, or 44.5. Oh wow, 44.5, maybe 40, and then it looks straight right now. Click key and do the same thing for this thing. 44 doesn't work, so 43, 42, and 41, 5, 2, 3, 4. Okay, click key. Oh, make sure this is selected again. Click key, and now it is perfect in the center, but we still have this in the upper part. So go to about 72, and then we'll have to adjust it again to about 78. Nope. 75, 74, 73, 72, 5, like so. Key it again, go to the outer leg blend shape, and 75, 76, 5. Key, and then we're gonna go to about 92 degrees, or wow, 80 degrees, so 8T, and adjust it again a little bit for, oh, that's right away, and this will have to be about, so 8. Okay, key. So right now we have it like this, and it looks pretty much okay. So yeah, you see it a little bit, you see it deforming just a little bit, but not a lot. So what we're gonna do now is we can close this window and go over to the next step, so making the blend shape control done. So I closed it again. Great. So what we want to do once we've done that is make sure there's a limiter on the rotation because we don't want it to go past the 90 degrees, because then it'll look crappy like this. So go into the attribute editor while having the knee joint selected. Scroll down on the right leg knee joint. Limit information, rotate Y, make sure everything is on 0 and checked, except for this one, because this one we want to change to 90 degrees. So now this will stop at 90 degrees. Okay, so once we've done that, we're gonna rotate this to 90 degrees. Still select the knee joint, or actually we forgot one step for now. Go to 0. Let's move this up about 6 or till it's 12. So now we want to make the controllers for the leg themselves, and let's save it right now. Press Ctrl S if you have already made a save file, or save as. So what we want to do now is we want to let's see, make the controllers. So for the controllers, what I usually do is go to the Create tab, go to Volume Primitives and Cube, and then I'll make sure these are set to the right dimensions, so 4.5, and then that they are moved up about 1 pixel. So once that has happened, we want the lines to be, or we don't want it to be moved from the middle point of this, we want it to move from the bottom. So what we do now is we press D on our keyboard. Let's see, where is it? Okay, let's see, yes, here we have it, and we'll have to go into the point snap and turn the grid snap off. Hold D and drag it down till it's perfectly aligned with the bottom of the feet or with the bottom joint. So what we're gonna do right now is we're going into one of the final steps, and that is we're done setting up the controller. It's actually a controller. So what we want to do now is make the IK handlers and place them underneath the controllers. So that is step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Step 7, we're almost done. So for that, what we want to do first is rotate the knee joint to 90 degrees. And go into rigging mode. Go to skeleton while having the knee selected. And make sure you have, you click set preferred angle. Then rotate this back to 0. And what we can do now is make the IK handler. So let's make sure we have our outliner open again on the side. And here we have the right leg controller. And it looks like it's underneath something we don't want it to be. Anyways, now we're gonna go up here in the rigging tab and make sure we select this thing over here. And make sure it's a rotate plane solver by double clicking the IK tool, the IK handle tool. And now you can close this. Click the first joint in the hierarchy, and then click the joint you want it to go to. And now it will create a IK handler. And because I'm in snap to grid mode, it actually spazzes out. But it actually will look like this. And yeah, so what we're gonna do now is, because we don't have the fancy feet and stuff yet, but we first what we're going to do is make sure the right leg IK handler is going to be under the right leg controller. And once we've done that, we can select the controller over here and move it like so, but we don't have the fancy feet yet, as you might notice. So what we're gonna do is we are going to make another IK handler, click it once and pick the back part, so the ankle and the foot itself, which will give it the ability to rotate just like this. And right feet, okay. Rename it to right feet IK handler. and place it underneath the previous IK handler. Because if you're going to do a pull vector, it won't work any other way around. Because what will happen then is that the news itself will rotate and stuff, but the ankle will not. And that's something we do not want to. And if you want to adjust its position, you can always rotate it like this if you want to have a different effect. And what we're going to do is we're going to make the IK handlers both invisible by selecting both of them, and to turn the visibility to off. So now this part is done. I reckon the controller works as it's supposed to be. Yes, it does. Also, what you can do is you can make a limiter, a rotate information limiter on the joint itself. Also, it has a sideways fancy feet. But if you want it to work differently, you can select the right ankle joint, go into the attribute editor, turn everything to 0, and what we're gonna do now is check what sides we can rotate this in, or we want to rotate this in. We want to rotate this, or actually let's just hope for the best by enabling all of these and looking to what we want to do. -25. I reckon this is this row. Oh. No. Okay, it looks like it's that rotation, and that's something we don't want to. Let's see. 0 and 0. -25, 25, 25, and -25. This stands for 25 degrees. And as I'm correct, it will now, or let's see for a second. I think it will be better to place it down here. Anyways, now it rotates just like this. And if you want to rotate it again, then you will just have to move it like so. But there's something, okay, yes, you'll have to rotate it like this to move it the other way around. And as you see, it has perfectly working fancy feet. So what we want to do now is make the right joints invisible, so turn the visibility to off. And then group all the things. Do I have to go to school in half an hour? No, sorry. Sorry guys. And the right leg joints, like so. So what you want to do now is select all of these. And press Control or Command on Mac. Control Command Shift D. And then move it to the side, but we'll have to do that by selecting the joint and the controller itself. And then make this 2. And for this thing, we're gonna change this to -2. And now we have a left and right leg, but we still have to change the namings and stuff. So this is gonna be called left leg, left, and left. Ooh. And now rename this to left also, this to left, and rename all the controllers to left. It's a little bit of work, but it's less work than creating a whole new leg. Let's change the visibility of all these things to off. And rename this to joints. And place the joints of the right leg underneath this joints tab. And let's rename this to objects. and place the right leg objects underneath this as well. And the controllers, so let's call this thing controllers, and place the right leg controller under this tab as well. Now we can delete all these empty tabs, including the blend shapes, because we don't need them anymore. So now we have this, but we still have one problem. These textures are still the same as the textures on the right leg. So what we want to do now is go into Polygon, having selected the outer leg, click in, open the UV editor, and what you want to do now is, as you see, here is the left leg, and if you want to have the left outer leg, you'll have to place it over here. So just drag it down like this, and do the same thing for the left leg itself, but then we'll have to place it over here, like so. So now we have these legs perfectly aligned and stuff. So what we can do now is we can save it and test these legs out, like so. And as you see, they work perfectly fine. And same goes for this one. So that's it for this tutorial. I still have to check both of these. Now we're done for this tutorial. I can actually go over to this part and make sure episode 1, the legs, is finished. And I hope it was helpful for you guys, for the people who didn't yet know how to rig and stuff. So I hope to see you guys back in the next video. In the next video I'm gonna teach you how to rig the body itself. So I hope you've enjoyed it and hope to see you guys back in the next video. So bye.